All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. A little coffee action there. oh, right. So, morning, all good. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it. Thank you for getting my back there. Everybody else was sleeping, but again, it's one of those mornings where it's quite the slow morning. Really not a whole lot of exciting. I mean, euro dollar has moved zero in 24 hours. Pound dollar's moved a little bit there, at least finally. But dollar yen 6, dollar Swiss 14. Although you can see it retracing. This one actually had a setup. One of the breaks that we talked about yesterday came through on that one. Dollar CAD down 46. So we just had Canadian news come in. I don't know. It came in as expected. They made a slight revision before. It had been pushing down pretty much. I mean, most of it is eh, eh. It moved. It didn't come in as we expected it down, but it didn't really give us as much oomph as we thought it was going to be. But that's the winner of the morning, down 46, and you can see the 0.37 was over 24 hours. The rest of it in the last half hour, really, with the news, has not been that much. Aussie dollar minus 10, and it's reversing, right? Pound yen or euro pound 16, basically nothing. And then dollar yen down 35. Yeah, it's retracing just a little tiny bit. So really kind of a very quiet, again, last day of July. Very, very big, kind of, big vacation week, both here and overseas. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's just, it's what you're dealing with. The German preliminary GDP numbers did come in lower than expected with a slight revision, but I think everybody kind of expected this one. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it's. I mean, you can see it's up versus the pound, and the pound is just retracing from earlier in the week, but not really a lot of substance there. I mean, again, I think everybody expected it with the flooding and the issues that they were having with weather. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what PMI revised sentiment, and then again, late tonight we have the Chinese news. But you know, like I said, PMI may give us a little bit, um, but I don't know. I feel like today's not going to be a big mover necessarily. Um, you guys are watching the Olympics. The United States is in third now for overall medals. I guess as far as golds go, we only have 14 golds. I guess we're still in first place with the most medals. We're winning the silver category. But China is actually winning right now with 19 golds, Japan with 17, and the United States with 14. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny though when you look at like some of the sports. Like you look at see like the medals that like China has, right? They have 4 in weightlifting, which again they kind of dominate that arena. Weightlifting, shooting, they have 3 in swimming, which is good. Diving, actually, they do really well too. So, it's kind of the like the sports that are not traditionally like, you know, U.S. kind of winning. It's funny, they dominate the ones that we don't win in, and vice versa. So, um, but like table tennis, right? They win gold and silver in table tennis. They got a ton of medals there. I don't think that's traditionally an American based. It's not our arena, right? It's not our arena, but it's huge for them. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Olympics are cruising along here. We'll see how all the team sports start coming in here. But yeah, that's kind of the excitement of the day. Um, Obviously tomorrow no news. Sunday no news, and then Monday morning we have some sentiment. We do have the ISM manufacturing PMI because it again is the start of the month, so on Monday. So Monday should be a kind of a mover. I think Monday will be decent. Track and field started last night, so we should get a metal bump. Yeah, that's where a lot of our kind of our main metals. Yeah. So yeah, gymnastics and track and field tend to be our big one, and swimming, obviously swimming. Um, we've done quite well. Although I guess they did have I guess actually China got a gold yesterday, I believe, in one of the swimming events. Again, they're not bad in swimming. Um, but yeah, track and field tends to be our big one. Um, the money should be decent. As far as movement goes, I mean, here's the awesome what we're dealing with this morning. We talked about the level over here at 47.06 yesterday. If you look back, we were sitting kind of right in this level yesterday. We hadn't quite hit our profit target. And if you didn't get in yesterday, I mean, it came back up, it grabbed the level again, and then again, almost got to it this morning. But obviously, you can see that it's passed now. We talked about, if we could get some basing in this lower level here, if we could get a clean break and a pullback at the 73.58, we could potentially get all the way down to 73.16. I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's starting to get a little bit late. Had this first drive or the second drive gotten down there and based, I'd say, yeah, we've had potential today. But this third drive is really what it's taken. And again, Australia market is closed. It's just the U.S. Question is how much, on the last day of the trading month, how much, dollar movement can we actually have in this one? I think right now we're starting to kind of set this one up for next week. And again, understanding this level is important, right? I mean, it's a decent level to watch out for. It's it's probably right around that 50% for some of you fib traders. I actually have to finish my fib deck this weekend. It's so funny. So I don't know if you guys like. So whenever I have like signed on or agreed to do any type of education event. So like I always have kind of like a standard deck that I kind of base things off of, right? And then it's kind of like, all right, so what is it going to be? What are the 2 or 3 points that I want to cover? Like I have an outline that I follow for it, and somehow support resistance got thrown into this one, but it's basically just on fibs, and it's interesting how much data is out there, and it's funny because it's like, all right, it's like, all right, let's see what, is there any, and I do. Doesn't matter what it is. I always do research because I'm always looking for like new ways to present the information. Like, does somebody have a graph, or does somebody have a good example, or have a specific way that they want to kind of explain something that is different? Because you can always learn, right? So I'm always out there doing it, and it's funny. I actually found a source that has, basically talking about the differences, particularly with fibs, and you don't see it often this way. And I liked it. I think I'm going to use it. Talking about the difference between extensions and retracements. And we talk about it here all the time about the impulse and correction moves, but it's very interesting to see how many people that are supposedly fib experts aren't talking about how they're supposed to be used in conjunction together, but you very rarely see that, Um, it just, not in the same breath, right? They'll be like, oh, I'm doing this over here and I'll project this over here. But it's, it's very clear in kind of the rules, and it's very interesting to see how few people ever actually mention kind of how they're always supposed to be used in conjunction, and how to do it. So yeah. Um Ernest is coaching track and field now. I didn't even know it. But yeah, so I gotta finish doing that. But I found some cool stuff out there that I'm like, yeah, I should add that in there. That's a nice way to put it in there, right? Um, yeah, so fun stuff. The only problem is I told Todd I would use Nadex's charting, so I'm kind of like, it's like it's very limited. It works, right? But it's kind of like it's hard to finish a deck on the weekend when Nadex is closed. So I have to get a lot of stuff done today during the day. Anyway, Aussie again. I think next week look for this to come back down again. We're dealing with that racetrack. We have the basing. We're starting to get the basing in that level now, and it's kind of pushed through. So yeah, I would say, probably remain bearish at this point. Again, if we have dollar weakness all through today, again, could go higher. All right. Aussie yen. Aussie yen has been, I would say, it hasn't got to either our extreme ranges. We are looking for the 81.90 up top. We talked about we had a decent level here. It spent a bunch of time there. It was kind of tested, and we got close. So, 81.40 as we move farther away is kind of a, again, it's one of those ATR kind of reaches that we're looking for. Um, I tell them to Google anything. um, and then again, the 80.54 on the downside we were looking for, and even a potential break below that. Right now, we're really kind of stuck. And there was again, we had that violated zone. You could have drawn this a few different ways. We could have pulled it up into this range here, and really used that, boxed off this, all this touch, this touch, this touch. And it gave us an entry this morning for a drop. Right now, again, it's got to chunk through. Once we get back up to 81, it's got a few little levels of sellers that it has to chunk through before it goes much, much higher. At this point, I would say with it basing here, it's kind of running out of steam. We'll see what type of movement we can get from the overall yen today. Aussie is obviously done, so we're not going to get too much movement for them. I'd say, I mean, I don't know. Looking at this pair again, it hasn't had a lot of strong, I guess, trending momentum. It's still very, very high on the curve. I mean, Aussie did quite well with that. We haven't seen inflation really kind of step in to where it's been a problem yet. It hasn't been talked about. Um, it's kind of one of those things. Once it starts coming, I think the Aussie will have the opportunity to really get strong again. But I feel like right now it's just not. It's just not quite there. So, 80.54 I think is the level we really need to look out for. And it's not like it's really far away. I mean, we're only talking about 30 pips. So I mean, in all honesty, I mean, it could hit it in 2 or 3 candles if it really wanted to. It just getting it to drive down there and then stabilize to go higher. So, it's kind of a level that I'm watching out for. Maybe if we can get an open down there on Sunday, we take that long starting off the week. It could definitely be, definitely be in the cards. Especially next week with all the news that we have. I mean, next week is really kind of action packed with news, right? I mean, we have, Aussie information here. We have, unemployment. And again, remember, New Zealand is supposed to be, raising their interest rates. That's what they were doing. Then we have retail. I mean, Tuesday is, you know, we have this early morning, which is basically Sunday night. Then we have retail sales on Tuesday. We have all the dollar information here, which again should help us as well. Pound, we have their kind of asset purchases and monetary policy. We have unemployment claims. And then again, we got their monetary policy on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have all the non farm data. So there's so much news next week. I definitely think this 80-54 is going to come into play. Look for maybe a bounce right now, but that's all we got going. Uh, Euro pound button up against that same level. We talked about it. Sellers have stepped in. You can see here's the European Open right here, and we kind of went down and pulled right back up, and we're in that same level. So I do like the racetrack above. And again, we were looking for that kind of takeoff before, and then it created the racetrack. Um, I don't know if this is going to be a today type scenario. We can take this to here. Actually, 1 to 3 is right there. Basically, I mean, this market closes in 2 hours. I don't know if we'll have enough, oomph in it. I actually would like to see this happen on Sunday. I like how it's basing in here. If we could get an open, I can take the dumpster off. But if we could get an open kind of somewhere up in this range on Sunday, I think that would be decent for a little bit of a pullback to that zone, and then push back up in this 85-50, kind of back up to where the sellers were. I think that'd be a great trade setup for Sunday night. I don't think we're going to have enough time today for it to work. Just again, with their markets closing, it's going to get pretty stagnant in there. You tend not to see when that market's closed, you tend not to see too much in there. So, kind of what we're dealing with, right? It's Friday, not much we can say about it. Holiday summer, yeah. So that's what we're dealing with. Euro yen. So euro yen, we're looking for this to drop. We're looking for an entry a bit lower. We didn't get it. It came down, right, and just stabilized and held here, and then pushed back up, grabbed those same sellers, and it's kind of rolled over again. So, also in a consolidating pattern. I mean, the lows are definitely coming a bit higher, but this sideways movement, it kind of debunked it. Some people will be looking at this and say, well, wait a second, there's a channel here, right? And you could have said, yeah, there was, right? You could have said that, oops. You could have said that, there's there was your kind of channel, right? Your three touches, but now it's broken and it's just gone sideways. It hasn't really gone up or down. It stayed in that same range. So I would say I'm kind of more bearish right now. I'd like to stay bearish this one. We obviously need a little bit of help from the yen. But right now, I mean, this is what we're dealing with. A little bit of a chop. We had that previously violated zone, and that's really what it bounced off of. We were looking for down yesterday. It just, you know, unfortunately, it came down. It just didn't get low enough for us to get the entry, which is a shame because it went all the way back up again. It would have been a nice little trade setup there. So, and again, European Open on this one was here, so it already started moving. This was like a 1 o'clock in the morning move. So it's like, oh, you got so close. You did exactly what you wanted. Missed it by 4.4 pips. So, what are you gonna do? Yeah. So I don't know. I would say kind of more short. And again, could we use this level for next week? Sure. I mean, keep it on that radar. I don't know that it would be anything that we'd be looking to trade today. If it does drop back down again, I mean, we're sitting 41 pips. It moves 41 pips this late on a Friday. I don't know if we're gonna have an opportunity to turn, roll it, and go back higher. So just keep that, keep that in the frontal lobe. I think for next week. As far as areas to go short, I mean, like I said, we have the 3101 up there. I think that's still valid. Um, this is the area if we can break through 130.43. This is kind of what we're dealing with, right? There's no real, impulse bases and then kind of retracements. It's just kind of a quick spike up and down. So really, the next clean is going to be up here at 131. And again, if we were going to draw kind of a smaller intraday, whoops, smaller kind of intraday type base level. I mean, this is kind of what we're dealing with right now. So you can see this is obviously blue base trade. This Harry Potter would take us low into the green, 128.73. Um, yes, Jinjin, I'm glad you're happy now. Yeah, I got in an argument with Jinjin earlier. I went in the room because I heard she was awake, and she's like, "Go away!" I was like, "You're on my pillow. You go to your side of the bed." And she's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, we're gonna yell at Daddy in the morning? Okay, let's roll." So yeah, there was some early words with the girl. she's at that mine phase. Mine, 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 mine. I was like, oh, I'm gonna take it right now. Mess with daddy. Gonna gotta get that established early. Otherwise, I have you know brat children. But yeah, she was on my pillow. Actually, her and Melissa were on my pillow. I was like, I'm like, you're gonna fight me and tell me to leave on my pillow? No, no, it's not gonna happen. No, Debbie. Iron fist. Iron fist, Debbie. There's no debate. It's my way or the highway. Yeah, because later when she wants something, I'm gonna tell her no, because I have a longer term memory than she does. That's how we're doing it. She'll forget. Talk to me in a few years. Actually, I'm not worried about it for a few years, Debbie. In all honesty, like Melissa's like, she's such an easy baby. Like, I mean, what happens if the boy's not as good? I'm like, the boy's not going to be as good. I'm like, boys are disruptive for the first 12 years of their life, and then it just kind of it's nothing. Girls, they don't start getting disruptive until 12, 13 years old. So, I think that's going to be the biggest issue is because Jin, like, even her daycare says that she's a firecracker. Yeah, she is definitely not aggressive, but like she's very assertive, which I'm cool with. Like I'm absolutely 100% fine. I don't want her to be timid. I want her to be, on the more assertive side. Um want her to be like very like strong mentally and everything. But so, she hasn't even gotten to that stage yet. And both, you know, Melissa's sister and my sister are a little bit more on the not aggressive side, but definitely, low filter, speak their mind. So Jin is obviously going down that path. I told Melissa, I was like, wait till she's a teenager. I was like, the way that you argue with her now, wait till she's a teenager. So meanwhile, I was like, we just got to make sure that like the boy's not a wimp. The other two are, I don't know, they're all right, but I was like, watch. I was like, you're gonna baby the boy. I was like, it's called Mama's Boy for a reason. She's like, oh no, no, I'll smack his face. I was like, uh huh. And when he cries, it'll melt your heart. So, not my first rodeo. I know how this goes. But yeah, I'd say look for this one more down today if you're going to continue to trade it. I just don't. It's not the best opportunity. We're not really got anything strong here. Euro dollar, kind of the same thing. We were looking for a bit of a bounce yesterday. And we got it, and it held that level. We weren't looking for a reversal or anything. And again, it hit 1, 2, 3, based and broke, came back down again, and this was a very fast kind of turnaround. It did put a new level in. It was a decent pullback. I mean, so you could have traded this one if you wanted to. But again, we knew buyers were stepping in. The real question was it would it have the ability to drop as far and be able to hit a profit target? And not really. I mean, because this spike here, I mean, this was a Euro open spike. You got to respect that spike, right? You got to look at that. So when you looked at this one and said, yeah, we had a failure to go higher. I like that top. Let's see if we can break it. You're only talking about getting 20 pips to the downside before we had an opposing buyer come in. So kind of not really this, not ideal, right? And it's turning where it should have. So I think at this point, the same bounce that we had down here, I think we continue to look at this one as a potential buy for next week. That level, and again, we don't need the break anymore. Let's pull this over. Let's change this to green. 118.52, right? Is kind of where we need it to be. And again, for anybody that's watching, the reason why this was not surprising, we wouldn't have taken again. Where is it? Again, you have your one there, you have your two there, and you have your three there. You expect number four to break, and that's exactly what it did. It broke right there. So, wasn't another entry. This was the trade long. There was your profit target. It ended up hitting it actually all three times. It hit three different times. So, if you're going for the greed, you're good either way. All right. At this point, wait till 1852. Top side. I know I got this one up top, which I'm good with that one. That one is good. Obviously, I have some sellers sitting in there. Again, that's probably what we bounced off of. Yeah, that's the one we bounced off of. We got the old zone here. Hmm. This is interesting, but again, we've had so many touches of it. It's not not great. And then again, we hit above this level and we have a racetrack. So what are you doing? She has a little girl fort that we built for her. So we have it's a kid's bed from IKEA. So it's like a you can flip it upside down. It's like a regular day bed slash loft bed. But because it could also be a loft bed, like a kind of like the bunk bed where kids can play under it, it's got like I don't know, it's like a 12-inch area. Like it acts as like the bed, the box spring when it's in like floor bed, not loft bed mode. Removed some of the panels. She climbs under it, and it's like a girl bed for her now. So she's got all her toys under there now. It's like don't get stuck. Um, yeah. So this is interesting. We break above this 119.10 area. We have a few kind of small hidden levels around the 1950 mark, but it's pretty much a racetrack until we get all the way up top again. Right around this 120 mark. 120 is a very large psychological number for this pair. And again, probably not a single day move. It's probably like a 2-day move. I mean, we're talking about quite a bit of a run there. So, um, curious to see if we can get this one to really start. Once the European Union starts making some, hawkish comments on that one, I think this one would be a decent runner. But right now, I'd wait till 118.52. That's the best thing. I wouldn't take a short right out of it. Wait for it to pull back and get something in there. Yen. So we talked about 153.46. We missed the entry yesterday. As you see, it dropped all the way through. It came all the way down, grabbed the opposing level, right, and then pulled back up again. So this one in 24 hours has only moved about 36 pips, and you can see why, right? All the way down, all the way back up again, and then just kind of is holding in the middle. I think going into next week, again, keep that same thing on the radar, right? 153.45. And we could use this level. I'll refine it just a little bit. We know some buyers snuck in there. It is now about 54 pips away. Probably not going to have the ability to come all the way down and then come all the way back up again. So probably not for this week. But I would say if we can open in this level or open for some reason, if we come down and we can drive here on Sunday night, I think either of these two levels would be decent for buys going into next Monday. And again, that's 152.60 and 152.22. And again, decent base. I like how it was a one candle base and then three candles straight up, and it did get front run from that level, so we know we have some buyers there. And then again, after the base here, we've had one touch. The 152.22 level is also valid. So some decent things for pound yen. I don't think it's worth trading today, but again, 152.45, 152.60, and 152.22. Pound dollar. So talked about this one going down, coming back to 139.05. It ended up basing, coming down. It wasn't strong. It did its thing. It went about 40 pips to the downside before retracing. It did hit it again this morning, and this hit it about 5 o'clock and came all the way back down and tested again. So, had you used this level for a short, either one would have been fine, right? You can see there our 1 to 3 is sitting right there. That's 1 to 3.6. So either entry would have worked. That entry there would have worked, or if you'd gone in over here, that one would have worked as well. Same level. At this point, again, we're just more or less inside a sideways movement. I think you look for 140, right? 140 is a big psychological number. Or if we can push back down today, the 139 level of 5, we definitely had some basing and a nice little, established push from there. Otherwise, looking a little bit farther out, we got something all the way down here, but this is quite the quite the move. You're talking about 167, right? 167. That's like 2 days worth of movement. So something bad would really have to happen today in the pound, and we'd have to have something probably pretty big happen on Monday or Sunday night, Monday to get all the way down to there. So right now, I'd be looking at these two levels up top. If we can get in there, stabilize. Again, we could potentially use this level, though it's been hit at least 2, maybe 3 times at this point. The 139.50 or 159.80. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I'd look for at least a pullback lower to 139 or a pullback to 140. Kind of box out either way. All right. Dollar CAD. So, Dollar CAD. We talked about how this is where news was earlier in the week. We talked about a break of 124.22. If we were getting some basing there, I would say at this point, I mean, we've hit again. News didn't give us anything. We didn't get any burst from it. It came in as exactly as expected right here. So Again, not really going to expect movement for that. It misses most of the time. This was not one of the misses for the GDP. So they hit it dead on. So no news based move on that. So we can delete that and we can delete that. Go back into technical analysis land. Again, we've hit this area multiple times. It's found buyers. It hit it again and found buyers, but we kind of pushed to the brink. So again, it's a break of 124.22. Looking for price to come down to 120. God, I hate when it does that. 123.80. Right, about a 40 pip runner to the downside. This one probably could work today. Again, if we can get a clean little break and a pullback in the next, I say, hour and a half, that could be a way that we end the day today with, and it's not really Canadian strength. It's just more dollar weakness playing out on a Friday. But again, not necessarily the biggest mover, but it has been grinding decently. It's down 47 pips. It's the biggest mover of the day, but you can see, I mean, it hasn't been super clean, and it's only because yesterday we were up here. We were at kind of like the peak of the channel, and now we're at the trough of the panel or the channel. So looks big, not as big as you would think, because by late last night it had all rallied back again, and now we pushed, and we'll see. But I would say short again, break of 122, 124.22, taking it to 123.80 to the downside. All right. Here's dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, we had a level. Now, again, if you did not get in, this kind of sucks when it's like, oh, I made it halfway through. It did touch it at about 3 o'clock this morning. About 2:30 this morning, it did touch and then finally pulled down to that 1 to 3. It was an area that we were like, yeah, I mean, it's an area of interest. It's hit it. It's based in it. And then again, it continued to base in it again and came up. And again, now here was the violation of it to the downside. It's an ugly Harry Potter, but again, it's all the same. We talked about how we had a racetrack to the downside, so it's profit taking stepped in. Hopefully, you guys were able to grab this one. I wouldn't do anything with it now. The trade has already occurred from this morning, but again, it was one we talked about yesterday, looking through for that base, and again, it's a pullback. You look for the pullbacks, right? But as you can see, it's starting to get very, very choppy. Swiss is obviously closing soon, and again, it's kind of like, is the Swiss weak here, or is the dollar? And again, we're seeing the dollar. Right? Dollar is kind of getting to a stage now. We're expecting the dollar to kind of roll over. It's up into an area of sellers. It hit here, and we're at that same level. This starts to push down with weak dollar. Dollar Swiss also comes this way and comes back down again. So, you know, we can use this level if you really want on Sunday. 90.75 is decent, but the next time we have big buyers is going to be down here at this level at 89.92, and this is kind of a racetrack. So if we can get some decent basing, it may give us another way to get short. But besides that, there's nothing else in dollar Swiss. It's kind of done its movement. We've had our trade of the day. Like I said, it's like if you can get your 30 pips a day from dollar Swiss, awesome. Don't push it. I don't think it's worth going much farther than that with the dollar Swiss. But if you can grab it, and roll. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, we actually had a Harry Potter kind of setup here that we were looking to get into. We were looking for a break of 109.31. All it ended up doing was bouncing right off of that level, and it was a decent runner to the top side. I mean, that's about 40 pips, right? What's good for us is now we know that buyers stepped in yet again in that level. Every time it hits, the level becomes weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So it's again, it's a trade we'll set up for next week. There was no entry, no harm, no foul. Again, 109.08 is ultimately, again, it's breaking into the green area, so that's where we're looking for longs. We can extend this across, and again, the next time it comes down, if we get that basing in there, right? If we get that base eventually, what was that? It disappeared. If we get that, oh, right there. If you're getting the base, all of a sudden we're set up for that Harry Potter, that short of next week. So right now, we're pulled up into, yeah, there's sellers up here, but it wasn't really necessarily the best setup. There was a little one you could have taken here. And again, that was kicking in yesterday. It's probably the next time. I mean, I guess, yeah, let me do it again. Hold on. Probably an area of sellers there again. Again, particularly if we push up, that'd be quite a retracement there. But I would say a break of 109.31, particularly if we get basing in this level. But that area starts at 109.40, and that was the trigger late last night. European session started here. It drove it down and then just retraced. So not a ton that you would have been able to trade. Put that right there. Man, it's another one of those mornings where I woke up like I hate waking up tired. I love when you wake up, like, man, I feel so good. Like I'm refreshed. Even when you like roll over and see that it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. but like you wake up and you're like, man, I feel great. I feel like I slept like 12 hours. And then it's like 4. You're like, oh God. But like I actually didn't go to bed late last night. And I actually, it was like, I don't know. I felt like I woke up at a regular normal time. And I woke up and I was like, God, have I slept yet? I was like, oh God, it's light outside. It's one of those days. Long week, ready to call it quits. Um, but there we go, top and bottom. 109.87, and then again a break below. Let's look at indices. It's funny. I told Todd, I was like, "Hey, listen, these things move. That's a heck of a jump." We'll start with the S. Let's go down to a 15 minute. It's funny. So I mentioned, during the Nadex presentation today that 4,400 was kind of where I expected this to go today. Drive it back to equilibrium. Didn't expect that it was going to do it in the first 30 minutes, but expected it to kind of get back there today. That seems to be the new point where it feels comfortable. Now the question is, how high can we go? We talked about this support and resistance trap again last week, that a couple days ago. What was it? Well, I guess it was yesterday. The garbage can is my dumpster fire icon, right? Wake up refreshed. Does that happen anymore? Ernest, it does, but when I'm refreshed at like 4 o'clock in the morning, man. Like I don't know if that's considered insomnia or just I don't know. Actually, my plan is I'm gonna sleep late on Sunday. So tryouts tomorrow for the boys. My kids are in Michigan, but I have it for the rest of the team. So tryouts tomorrow, and then I have nothing on Sunday. Actually, Sunday I'm supposed to help with a high school tryout. A buddy of mine's a high school coach, and they have a bunch of kids coming out and asked me if I would come out for to help them. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of probably do that. Anyway, here was our little trap last week. We talked about it pulling back, and if it did give us a decent one, look for it to go higher. It made it about halfway through. It was like almost at a 1 to 2 before tanking and rolling. I think 4,400 is going to be the figure that we suck into. If we can get any higher, that's great. That'll launch us forward. But you know, I can remove this. We don't need this level anymore as far as targets. We can remove that as well too. I would say the 44.15, 44.16 area, that's the last time we had any test up top. There's not really much stopping it. I guess there's a little level here. I guess this is, we can kind of talk about a level there. I don't think I wouldn't take a short off of it, but it's a level where it's probably going to have a bit of a hiccup. Only because this is so much movement so fast. I'm kind of curious, like if we get to 10:30, if we'd come back down again, right? Um, but trade is done. I mentioned with Todd, I was like, yeah, 4,400. Look for it today. We just hit it, so we're done. 30 minutes and we out in that one. NQ talked about it being weaker. It had a lot more room to run. 15,000 is really kind of where its equilibrium point is. It's making an attempt, but the question is, it's had its initial push. Can it push all day long with nothing but positive? And I don't know. Like I said, 10:30 reversals are a real thing. It's got 60 more points to go. Right, it's got 60 points more to go to get back up to 15,000. It would be a great close for the week, though, if we can get back up there. I think that's awesome. I'm still looking for 15,105 as a short area, and then 14,735 is the two decent longs. Do have to respect this level down here, though, at 14,811. But I mean, in all honesty, if this pops up or we get a red base and we start to pull back just a little bit and we can't get it, then that's a short for end of the day. But yeah. I mean, I'd love to say it gets up 15,000 today, but that would be its equilibrium. YM, same thing. Talked about 35,000. It better not make me a liar. We got within 6 points. And again, didn't expect it to do it in its first, but if you guys watched that one, we talked about how it was like 126 away, and it's got a 365 daily ATR. So it's only half. So we expected it to get back up to 35,000. There is a level up at 35,035. And again, we saw it where it tricked people and then snuck back down again, came back up again and dropped also. And that's what led to yesterday's kind of sell off. I don't know. We get up in this level, it's kind of the same thing. If we peak, we base, and we pull back a little bit. If we make another attempt forward and we can't go higher, take this one short for close end of day. You know, it's done what I expected it to do. Like I said, I was looking for 35,000. That was it. I didn't, 100% transparency. I did not expect to do it in the first 30 minutes. I figured that we would kind of, take a little bit of a hit and then go higher. I was actually looking for the 35,000 after the reversal, but I don't know. Uncle Warren must be listening to Nadex presentations. Okay, we're going to go long. And it did it immediately. So, like I said, Timing and how fast they move, I can't tell you when that's going to happen. I just know the areas, and that's what we assumed. So, and then Russell talked about 2250, and we got to 2251. So yet again, talked about that one popping, and again it was decent on a 15 minute. This one would have been hard to grab. It didn't really pull back into his zone. That was great. You would have been looking more for kind of like that side, right? That's 8:30, and then 9:30 you'd already pulled back. So, you know, mention it equilibrium, and that's all we hit. Now, I do think it's important to talk about how we're in a zone here and a zone up top. Um, One, two. It's hit twice, and there's no wick on the bottom. Hmm. Wondering if we take this one, if we got this going on here. 'Cause we have yet to see a pullback, and we're driving into the level, and it was really pushed to the brink last time. Full send NQ. Yeah, I don't know, Carl. I'd like to see. I mean, like I said, I called 15,000. I don't think we're going all the way up. And like I said, we're getting close to reversal time. This is a lot all of a sudden. I don't know. Wait, did they have world peace? Hold on, let me check before I say anything. Like, yeah, the PMI number is good, right? Sentiment declines. I mean, yeah, it declined. I mean, from 82.5. In my mind, we should declare success in the inflation goal. So Bullard is back on the mushrooms. Um, Feels Fed should taper asset purchases this fall and go fairly rapidly. Okay, yeah, okay. He's not as bad. I was like, wait a second, what? Right. Okay. So yeah, so he's in the same sentiment that they need to act faster. All right. I was just checking there. I was like, wait, what? All right, good. Sorry. Misinterpreted that at first. Fed's coming up a little short and preparing for possible inflation shock. Yes, absolutely. So Blard is he's my vote to take over. Get rid of the other guy. This guy's the only guy that I feel like has I don't know. I feel like if there's a vote on his comments, and I feel like he's on the ball. I feel like he's got it. So I rescind my statement about the magic mushrooms. Pal is the only one left on this. So yeah, I'm in the Blurred camp. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see if it goes. But Russell, yeah. So you can see it's hit once and been pushed back, hit a second time and pushed back. And again, if this one doesn't really give us any type of and it may pull back in base, and that'll be the trigger to go long. But I'd wait for this one to kind of push up through the 2255. But yeah, so that's not bad. So of the indices, I said 15,000. I'm sorry, I said 4,400. We ding that one. This one's got a little room to go, and again, I said this would have the hardest time. It's only what 30 more points it can go. YM, almost victory on that one. Almost victory. Missed it by 5 points, and then this one is over. So right now I am 2 for 3 for what I assumed would happen today. I'm 2 for 3, so not bad. And like I said, if NQ does it, there's the equilibrium point. I didn't think it would have the juice to do it. And then, damn, that one was so close. I was almost 3 for 3 in the first half hour. Yeah, Ernest, it might be. It might be. Yeah. Well, yes, but then again, comments like this, you know, they came out about an hour ago. If they start talking about this, and again, they may, right? I mean, they absolutely could. Um, if they're looking for a news story, I mean, Fed should, finish. They should finish the taper by the end of the first quarter. Meanwhile, Powell is saying we're not even going to think about raising interest rates before 2023. He's talking about finishing the taper by the end of first quarter. That gives us what 3 quarters of doing absolutely nothing and hoping that it works. I mean, the taper is the economy. The taper does nothing for inflation, right? So, yeah, they start talking about inflation again. It's kind of like, somebody's aggressive. I mean, this is noteworthy headlines. Um, so we'll see. But yeah, it could. Like I said, I think a lot of it too will depend on the base. Right? If we come back and we find stabilization here and try to push forward, this one with the wicks back and forth is a little bit scarier. Um, Russell's okay. Again, we're still not really having that pullback, although it's been turned away by not really a lot of clean areas. And again, on a kind of on this 15-minute, you can see that there's probably an area sitting there that's decent, right? Because that led a nice little push down. Um, like I said, ES has got that little zone we're driving through right now. Can ES get back up to the 44.15? I guess. But I mean, think about it. If we can, from there till the end of the day, which is here, right? That would be what, 31 points? Yeah, that would be 31 points straight up, right? Daily ATR is 44. So could it do it? Sure, but that's assuming that we have no pullbacks whatsoever, right? And we take it back to yesterday at 9. I mean, here's the same thing. Nice push up, pull back, and then push, and then by 10:30, that's where we started to have some problems. This would be a straight up push to get to that level. That's a big move in one day with not really any news. So, like I said, I mean, in your side of the camp, I will say it is the last day of July. People would love to end July with a green day, right? So, I mean, all those things are definitely possible, right? And again, when we saw all red on the indices starting the day, it's like, yeah, most likely there's going to, some of these are going to end green. Some of these are going up, and you can see again, particularly the right, right? There's our first red. Now we'll see if we stabilize. So again, we're in that reversal time. This is where the reversals come in. So Apple's negative now, right? Apple's negative. What is Amazon doing? Yeah, I mean it opened low, but it's starting to push back up again. See how much gain it. You know, I think it has the ability to go higher. Tesla pushing. I just want to say to you guys for that bull call spread that I talked about, whether it be on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, not doing bad. This is from that entry point down here. It is now up what, $63, right? $63, and we actually technically, I guess, had another entry if you really wanted it again. So from that same level, but there was that weekly one that we talked about, and again we touched it within 2 days, 3 days. Um, yeah, and again another entry off that same level. Pop tire. Um, yeah, Apple's looking like junk. Let's see what we got here for oil. So oil, I'm very curious to see what it does today. I was looking at this earlier. Let's take it to there. I was like, why is that candle extra wide? Change this down. So very curious to see what oil does. I don't know if you guys have recognized this pattern this week, right? Really over like the last couple days. We'll just do this week, right? These 5 days. As you can see here, right? Oil went, whoops, oil was up and then basically retraced, right? Same thing happened. Oil went up and then retraced. And then oil went down from its peak, right? And then went back up again. And then oil went down and then retraced again, right? So it's been kind of interesting. Now this one looks like it's up, but oil has been definitely one of those scenarios where we've had, and again, remember the blue is the UK session, the orange is the US session, right? Now again, I would say that we started low and went high on this one. Question is, do we stay high being a Friday, traders out of the market, or does oil suddenly start to roll back to the downside as well? But it's just an interesting, again, you see these kind of type of trends and, emerging again and again and again. And again, you could say, well, why did it turn here? Why did it turn here? I mean, it's just a standard analysis. We use a little bit different, analysis on oil. But, you can say that again, drove up, drove down, drove up, drove down. And again, 3 hits, it punched through, right? Went a little bit higher. It did grab buyers on the bottom, but same thing. Buyers on the bottom, and this one was not as clean, but buyers on the bottom, not as clean either in the overnight. But it's been a very interesting one, and it doesn't matter. Up, or up, down, down, up, right? So we'll see if that continues today. If it does, I would say that this is obviously an up right now, right? Question is now, will this take this and will we bring this run right back down again for oil? Um, it's interesting. Looks like it's moving right now, right? But this gets back down to that 73. This is the pattern that we've seen now with oil that seems to be emerging now in the summer. Um, So yeah, yeah, with oil. I would say at this point, I mean, I'm a bit more bearish oil right now. It is higher back in the curve. I think the 74 is a bit high. I get it, people are going back and things like that, and demand is increasing, but we are starting to approach the end of the summer time frame. Where I mean, it's not fall yet. I mean, I know it's August, in 2 days, so we're right there. But you know, I think it's a bit high right now. And remember, they're starting to bring more supply back online each month. They're going to increase supply just a little bit. So, um, yeah. Now, with that being said, I mean, it's called climate change because we can't call it global warming anymore because it's supposed to make it really, really cold as well. I'm curious to see if that provides us some opportunity to come in this fall, particularly because look at natural gas. Natural gas is getting just absolutely demolished, right? It's down 4.34% today. It is getting demolished. Um, so, again, energy pricing, inflation, I think there's something to be said about this one. Gold. Gold, we were looking for a short. 1831 was the area. It came up, it based. Could you have taken a smaller time frame? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'll just do it with this. Oh, not that one. Go short position right there. There is your top, right? And you can see 1 to 3 is sitting right there, right? So again, if you didn't get the first entry, you can see that it hit it and dropped. Had you not taken it there because you didn't like that one and you were waiting for kind of a European Open, there's your European Open. I mean, it's literally, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Bam! Right there is my 3 o'clock window. How about that? There's your established level of risk. And again, I'm moving it forward because if I do it here, it says that here was our first trade entry, which I get it. But that one is a like 7 p.m., late night entry. There's your European session open, right? From that same level. Very small risk. Well, went well past the 1 to 3. Actually drove all the way down to a 1 to 6, right? 1 to 6 is all the way down there. So that's not a bad target either. I would say right now with the PCE being low, gold is probably more of those, it's probably more in the red camp today. There's nothing justifying it going higher right now. Bullard's comments help, obviously, right? Go let's jack this stuff right now. But his comments are going to be secondary to what the actual data says. So, I think the trade setup has already happened. It's funny how the data supported a short, right? The data supported a short, yet the data came out, 6 hours after the European Open that had already pushed it down. I mean, I would say it's a coincidence, but we all know it's not, right? So there's gold. Hopefully, you guys got that one. I think the next level to come back down to and watch would be down here. And again, kind of keep that on your radar for next week. The 1810 range. I think that could be the start of the new channel, right? 1830 to 1810. We'll see. That was a problem in the past as well. We look for this one to come down. So we ended up getting it. And again, that was our first entry. It didn't hit profit target until really down in here. But again, could have given you the established level of risk. Gold trade is done for the day. Looking at silver. Silver is just that boring, right? We knew we had a level up top, right? That level was formed before. So, yes, there was an entry of this about 10, 11 o'clock yesterday. It dropped down, and really since 4 o'clock yesterday, it's done nothing. It's kind of whipped back and forth. Neither of the areas are great. This is where we were sitting yesterday. And again, we talked about the level. So, if you got it, awesome, right? But there was really no trade setup. There wasn't anything like gold today. So, not much else we can do with it. It just, what are you going to do? It is what it is. I don't know. At this point, I think again, this is a previously violated zone. It was a nice push down before, and it used it as a base here to go higher. I think 25.16 we can watch for Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if this price comes down today and drops in and lands in that zone. Would I use it for like a Harry Potter? Maybe, maybe. I mean, there's a few things in here, but right now, I mean, we still have clean down here below at 24.30. We still have this level. It's been tested now one time, and it based in there. And again, we were sitting right here yesterday, 10 o'clock window, drove in, and this is 10, 10:30, 11:30, 12 o'clock, 12:30, and then that's what just kind of cranked it back down again. So, um, still a level on there, and I believe the MT4 indicator actually had that zone as well. I think that's one of the ones that kind of one of the hidden ones it had in there. So yeah, I mean it's there. Let's see, and again I'm a little bit, look there you go. It touched that level. Let's see. Yeah, it hasn't given us a decent pullback on ES, but it's funny how see how it came off that level just a little bit. I don't know if that's going to hold it. I wouldn't put it past it. Um, but yeah, so 4,400 starting to turn a bit, and again it's an old zone there. We'll see what it does. Damn it. It's toying with me. I'm telling you, 35,000, make me 3 for 3 on the day. And then obviously Russell is doing its thing. So Russell's already there. ES and Russell are my friends right now. This is super close. And again, I'm delayed slightly on this one. I don't pay for TradingView data. Maybe this one is out, right? Maybe it's out. Let me see. Can I see it on one of my? We're going to do it at. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I can pull it on Nadex too. I'll pull it up over here. Come on, don't be slow. Carl is in the house. What's up, Carl? Carl, I've been talking about you this week. There's been a few setups that I've been like, oh yeah. Wow. I guess according to this chart, the Dow just dropped all the way back to 35,000. It's so funny. The chart's exactly the same on the Admiral one that I have, but it's yeah. So wow, it looks like price is all the way down here again. Man, if I miss this one by 4, I'll be mad if I'm 2 out of 3 and I missed it by 5 points. But it looks like these are all coming back down again. All right, I'll pull it up on Nadex. I didn't want to have to go to Nadex, but let's see. Got to do it. Got to do it. Oh, that one we know we're good. Yeah, 4,400. I know I'm good there. Yep, 2250 is good there. NQ. Nope, NQ was not, which I didn't think that. I thought that was going to have the hardest one. And then let's see, Wall Street. No, according to Nadex, I missed it by 8. 8, and it's all the way back down again. So, yeah, I'll be mad if that's yeah, it's saying it's all the way back down. It's all the way back down here now. So again, the 10-minute delay is real. Like I said, I'm not trading live on this one. Not on TradingView. So yeah, it looks like the candle now is actually all the way down to here. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. And this one is all the way back down again too. But again, it's in a zone, right? We talked about this coming up there and being an area. So had you gotten short from that level, again, the 22.48, you're probably out with full profit at this point. Let's see. Oh, somebody's crying. Right there. Yeah, that was what we talked about in the next presentation. So, all right, while this is playing catch up, like I said, I know it's 10 minutes delayed. Let's go ahead and make sure everybody gets in today. We got 9 entrants in. We got 10 tickets in. Just as a reminder to go ahead and do this one. Yesterday, Noro was the winner. All right. So Noro, he's got 2 tickets in. So yeah. So Noro's going for. She's very unhappy. Yeah, she's angry. He's going for his 50 pip chips today. So we'll see if he gets in. Silence in, so you guys are in trouble now. Ecky's in. Where's Ross? Ross, I'm telling you, Ross is like becoming the. I'm going to come in for Wednesdays, win my 50 pip chips, and I am out. So we'll see how he rolls with it today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one is already out. But it's 1 to 3. But yeah, that's not bad. So yeah, my predictions were in the first 30 minutes. I was 2 for 3. I missed it by 5 points. That's frustrating. Could have been 3 for 3 in the first 30 minutes. It's like, damn. And then Russell, obviously, yeah. So NQ, yeah, I don't know. It looks like 15,000 is out for that one. Small cap. I don't know. There's hope. It's kind of pulling back a bit. It's got to go 60 pips or 60 points. There, it's. I don't know. Or not this one. I'm sorry. Not small cap. Yeah. So, all right. Let's go ahead and do the drawing for the day. I got 10 in, 11 in. Let's close it out and see who the winner of today's drawing is. And like I said, I know there's a delay. You guys will see it before I say it. But the winner of today's drawing is Debbie. Look at that. Capping the week off. Debbie closes out July with the win, right? Let's give Debbie her 25. And meanwhile, I was like, man, if Carl comes in there today and wins this one, right? Go, Debbie. Right? I'd like to thank and especially Ernest for this pip chip win. But the question is, did Debbie have that already typed? Because I feel like she got out there like it was like bam, it's in, then bam. Like, I feel like she had it typed already. Wow. Ernest, I feel like Debbie is trolling you. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like she's trolling you. This is making me angry. It's like I was so close. Yeah, I feel like she's trolling you now, Ernest. So, Carl, it's been a while since you've made the morning session, so there's a little bit of a battle here. It's kind of like it's almost split on gender lines, but there's definitely some crossover. Like I feel like at this point, Eki is one of the newer members. I feel like he's been thrown in the girls' camp. He keeps coming in here as like he keeps winning, right? He's on a regular basis. He's a winner, and obviously there, Will doesn't say much. Will wins like once every like he'll win like once like every 3 months maybe. Will is probably the most unluckiest person in the channel. Debbie and Marina, they pretty much win at least once a week. And then Ross takes them, on Wednesdays. And then Neuro comes in and then just like he plays the spoiler a lot of times. A lot of people be on 2 and 3, and then that's when Neuro gets his. Like when someone's on a streak, Neuro has some type of juju that makes him win more, right? He's the spoiler. And then Ernest is like Darth Vader. Everybody votes against Ernest. I don't know why. It's like no Ernest. Ernest does win a lot. Ernest plays the game. Ernest has figured out if I risk this many pip chips, my percentages of winning is this. And Ernest is like our most yeah, he's got the mathematical advantages worked out. He's like, I'm gonna do this. Right. But I will say, Morena and Debbie are Ernest's kryptonite. If Ernest has won 2 in a row, it doesn't matter how many pip chips he spends, Morena is gonna win it with one ticket. She's done it to him like 3 times this year already. Every time he's on like number 2 or number 3 going for like the big pip chip wins, she wins with one. It's absolutely hysterical. Happens every time. Um, but yeah, goes through. So yeah, I know. Are we already those candles down here? I can see it on the other platform. So I don't know. It looks like the Russell's got to stabilize itself. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna keep that out there. So I'm 2 for 3 right now. Like I said, if the NQ can get up to 15,000, that's where I'd like to be. But I said that was gonna have the hardest time today. ES is or not ES. YM is a little bit of a disappointment by 5 points. But in the grand scheme of things, I mean, figure from the time I did that, let's see, 9:15. Figure it was 9 o'clock right here. This is when we talked about it. I was 125 points. So yeah, so at least I got people 125 points off the open. So all right, guys. With that said, it's 10:32. I'm gonna get out of here and roll. The girl is angry in the other room, so I'm gonna go save Melissa. Still don't know what the heck is going on with natural gas, but natural gas is just getting hammered today. You can see all the cryptos are red. Looks like movie theaters are up. Video games are down. Doji is down back under 20 cents. And again, nice big drop this morning down below. Kind of stabilized and pulled back up. It's right there at 1993. So it's close. TLT is jumping, but God, this one. Top of that channel. I wouldn't be surprised if that rolls. And I don't think anything in the currency. I mean, pound yen is now flat. So yeah, it's just not a lot in there. Aussie's continuing to drop though. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. We talked about a break. It didn't give us really a decent stabilization, but yeah, looks like that one's going down. Some junk. Still some movement. That one is out, moving down towards its target. Oops. CAD basing hasn't broke through. Dollar Swiss pulled down, has pulled all the way back up again to that same level. And dollar yen is close. So maybe the dollar yen actually triggers today around 11 o'clock. So yeah, so there's a couple out there. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys in August. Take care.